I left anonymous on us in my bot's Lunchbox for a year. Yesterday I wound out who she prices was. I started leaving anonymous notes in my neighbor's lunchbox after I overheard her crying in our apartment building stairwell. Yesterday I discovered she's the hiring manager and my dream job interview, and she recognized my handwriting. It began last January. I was coming home late from a shift at the hospital where I work as a nurse. As I rounded the third floor landing, I heard someone crying. It was my neighbor from 3B Parent, a woman I'd smiled at in passing, but never really spoken to. She was sitting on the steps in scrubs, her lunch bag beside her, sobbing into her phone. I can't do this anymore, Mom. Every day I go in there and try to save people, and today I lost another one. Nobody even looks me in the eye anymore. I am just invisible. I froze, not wanting to intrude on her privacy, but also recognizing the bone-deep exhaustion in her voice. I work in pediatrics. She clearly worked somewhere in healthcare too. I quietly backed up and took the elevator instead. The next morning, I saw her lunchbox sitting outside her door. Town, she must have forgotten it. Without really thinking it through, I tore a piece of paper from my journal, wrote "You are not invisible. What you do matters," and slipped it inside. I didn't sign it. I just put the lunchbox back and left for my shift. 2 days later, her lunchbox was there again. This time deliberately positioned in the hallway, I wrote another note. The hardest days are when we need to remember our why. What's yours? It became our unspoken routine. Every few days she'd leave her lunchbox out and I'd leave a new note. Sometimes encouraging quotes, sometimes silly jokes, sometimes just "You've got this," always anonymous. The note seemed to help. I'd see her in the hallway occasionally and the haunted look in her eyes had softened. Once she was even humming while collecting her mail. Last month I applied for a nurse manager position at a prestigious hospital across town. Yesterday was my final interview with their hiring committee. I walked into the conference room and there she was, my neighbor from 3B Parent, sitting at the head of the table. "Sarah Williams?" she asked, looking up from my resume. I nodded, trying to hide my surprise. The interview went well until she asked me to write down my nursing philosophy on a note card to share with the committee. The moment I started writing, her expression changed. She stared at my handwriting, then at me. After the other interviewers left, she stayed behind. "It's been you all this time?" she asked quietly, pulling a familiar note from her wallet. My handwriting unmistakable. I nodded, suddenly nervous. "I'm sorry if that was inappropriate, or I was planning to quit medicine completely that night," she interrupted. "I had just lost a 29-year-old patient, huge surgeries, months of care, and then an infection we couldn't control. His family blamed me." She took a deep breath. "Your notes. They became the thing I looked forward to some days. They were the only thing that got me to work." She told me how she'd started leaving notes for her own staff, how the culture in her department had slowly shifted, how they'd implemented a new peer support program. "I've been carrying this one with me every day," she said, showing me a wrinkled note that read, "Mamishan, someone is breathing easier because you exist. That's no small thing. I got the job offer this morning, not because of the notes," she insisted, but because the committee was unanimous about my qualifications. But she did add one thing in her email. "Your first assignment as manager will be helping me implement an anonymous encouragement program for the staff." Wrapped out, a little piece of paper can save more than just patience. Sometimes we reach out into darkness, never knowing whose hand we're actually holding, but it matters. It all matters.